Now, there have been more developments on the financial crisis at Derby County, and it seems we're getting to a critical stage. Let's get to our reporter, Rob Dawson, who's right across this story for us. Rob, good evening. Good to see you. Tell us what's happened today.
Well, Mike, this situation is now getting very, very serious for Derby County. We often report, don't we, on clubs in the EFL going into administration, but with one or two notable exceptions, it's pretty rare for any of those clubs to then go further and go into liquidation, where they go out of business and cease to exist. But that is the reality of the situation facing Derby County right now. And the EFL statement that we've had this afternoon puts that into pretty stark contrast. The EFL say they expect Derby to run out of money by next month, by February. And if the club's administrators, Quantuma, can't generate more funds by then, by borrowing more money, then they'd be faced with no other option but to put the club into liquidation. The EFL has previously said that they want guarantees from Derby that they're going to get enough money to see them through the rest of the season, guarantee that they can fulfil all of their fixtures. And they've now set a deadline for that proof to come through by February the 1st. It's the first that we've heard of that deadline. That's just 12 days away. And so two serious consequences for Derby, just about as serious as it gets. We have heard from Derby's administrators, though, today, who've put out a statement in response. They say they have three interested parties who want to buy Derby County, but there are two key factors preventing them from doing so and from actually putting the money on the table. The first of those, they say, is the big legal claims by Middlesbrough and Wycombe, which are still outstanding against Derby and potentially worth over £40 million if, in particular, Middlesbrough's case was to be won in court. And secondly, the possibility of further punishment from the EFL in the future. Now, regarding those legal cases, which is a huge stumbling block, the legal cases from Middlesbrough and Wycombe, the EFL have today said that they've offered independent legal mediation for Derby, for Middlesbrough and Wycombe so that they can try and thrash that out and avoid it going to court. Whether any of the three parties take them up on that, though, remains to be seen.
Rob, you mentioned that the legal implications involving Middlesbrough, and Middlesbrough have had some input today. Tell us what Steve Gibson, the chairman, said.
Yeah, listen, Steve Gibson is getting an awful lot of stick right now from Derby County supporters and other people in football who accuse him of trying to force Derby County out of business. Now, that's something that Steve Gibson has repeatedly and categorically denied. He says he just wants fair treatment here. And as a result, he's penned an open letter to Derby's administrators, embarrassing them a little bit and trying to force their hand. He's accused them of making him a scapegoat in the public eye. He's accused the administrators of leaking stories against him to the media. He says that despite regular contact from him, he's been ignored by Derby's administrators since November. Gibson also says he's offered to reduce Borough's claim against Derby, but that has been ignored by Derby's administrators. He's also demanded that Quantuma tell the truth about how much tax they owe HMRC. He says that's just as big an issue as Middlesbrough's legal claim against Derby. And he's also questioned the role of Mel Morris, Derby's owner, in this. Remember, he still owns Pride Park. So look, what we've got here is a very complicated financial battle involving some big people. But Derby County and their financial plight is right at the very heart of it. The EFL has said it is met with all of the interested parties in the last 72 hours, and it is committed to try and ensure that Derby can survive and thrive under new ownership, is what the EFL says. But this situation is now absolutely critical. The biggest headline is that the EFL say Derby are expected to run out of money next month. If that happens, they would go into liquidation, they would cease to exist, and would lose a football club which was first founded in 1884.
Yeah, indeed, Rob Dorset. Worrying times. Thanks, Rob.